Q&A on the way to Gerald Undone's house to be on his talk show. Well, I tried to ask him details of what we're going to talk about in the show because it's a new show. He gave me very limited details. I was like, is it about photography? And he says, it could be about anything. And I was like, that's not helpful. Going on Instagram right now, I'm going to ask you for questions. We're going to answer some on the way. We're going to hang out with Gerald for a bit, and we're going to answer some more questions on the way back. Really remarkable content here. All right, it's early morning, so it might take a minute to get some questions. So we'll start the job. Question number 1. How do I monetize and get clients when people are just looking for free/discounts? I think that there is an element, at least in the beginning, of doing some free work to build the portfolio that you want to eventually sell. I guess that doesn't completely come to an end, but you do have to start making money. I think one easy way to disarm people just asking for discounts is to have some sort of discount that you do offer ongoing. Sam Hurd does this with his unplugged ceremony discount, so it's just on his pricing that there's a discount there and people can take it or not. And it seems to disarm other people from ever asking about discounts because they know what discounts are available. Sometimes people just want to ask the question too. I found that happened a lot when I was getting started, that people, they want a thing to say. And if you've answered most of their questions on your website, that's just a question that people have. They want to save some money. And especially when you're in kind of the lower price point as well. And as you transition to an artist and people are hiring you for you and your actual, the brand that you've built and the images that you create, at that point, people stop asking for discounts as much. So there is hope on the horizon.
You can also just tell them, I don't have any discounts, and see what they say.
Tim says, just tell them you have no discounts available. Let's see where that goes.
Yeah.
No discounts, some discounts.
One discount.
What do you want? Do you want anything?
No, okay.
Next question, Chris asks, when to say no to a job? I think you don't really know in the beginning. It takes a long time for you to figure out your red flags. And I think that they're unique to wherever you are in the world. So I think it's a learning experience. I would say, for me, red flags are different in the wedding space versus commercial. Commercial, usually if people have completely unrealistic expectations, I will have to say no to a job that we could just never kind of align on what they're picturing. For weddings, it's usually if the timeline seems unnecessarily complex to a point that it's going to be a really bad experience, which means usually getting ready location is 2 hours away from the ceremony location, which is an hour away from somewhere else, and there's a park in the middle and the timeline's not good. Usually that feels a little bit like a red flag, but also sometimes it just works out fine. So you gotta play the red flags and figure out what they look like to you. It's very sunny in the subway.
Yeah, so there's this place.
Have you named the bear yet?
No, well, so in the last video,
Yeah.
the tripod one, I opened it up to...
I didn't see a lot of comments for bear names. Did a lot come through?
That's all the comments
How's
were.
it?
There's like 500 bear names. Or not, like 500 comments about bear names. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Okay.
That's engagement props, right? And make sure they're stupid and unrelated to the video or whatever. Like, name the bear. There's like 2 comments about the tripod.
Yeah.
And like 400 about a bear.
Okay, I read all the ones about the tripod then.
Anyway, so there's that. I'm still tweaking around with it a little bit. I just recently... Those legs below the chairs, they're new and they're 3 inches longer because I wanted to try and see if I could like level off the height differential.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty tall, and then I sit in the thing and they sit lower. So we'll see. We'll see how it works on you and how it looks.
My guinea pig?
Yeah. Everybody I invite is a guinea pig.
Oh, there's Kodachrome in there.
Yeah.
It's been shot. How do you develop it? You have to do it yourself now.
Don't worry about it. It remains a mystery. And so in the setup for a video like this one, boot up the camera. Tim, how do you feel about being a camera operator today?
Let's do it.
It's already doing it.
I'll do it twice.
Here's another battery.
What do you shoot on regularly, brand-wise?
Canon.
If we can trust him behind a Sony. That's what he's using right now, isn't it? Yeah. So there's the A7 IVs, Ninja 5s. Everything is the same. The only thing I gotta unify is the plate, because they're all different. But Condor Blue's actually coming out with a new, like a Mark II of their V-mount plate, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
It's you can run it off of mains, off of USB-C power delivery. So you could have like backup, like it's like maybe even juice the battery a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you'd have like USB-C power delivery coming in, your V-mount here, the whole thing could be on power delivery. Yeah, I like that better than, because these ones you can still do it, but then you got to run like big bricks and everything to the wall.
Yeah.
This will ultimately be your camera, Tim. And so the camera operator's spot is like tucked in right here. We'll move the thing for you to have space. But
Power zooms only.
what do you call it? Crash zooming like The Office or whatever. Yeah. I can see basically all 3 angles. And you can see they all look exactly the same, which was a feat. all the cables that you don't see are all routed in some way to like a rat's nest behind this thing, you know?
Yeah.
I'll move the bear when Taylor arrives.
Okay.
Arrives.
see.
You know? Move over things. We'll figure how we do it. I guess like you're officially off stage, right? And then I'll do some kind of intro. And then, do you think that the guest should move the teddy bear over?
How was your experience on the Gerald show? It's not a name.
Well, we came up with 15 different names for the show on the show.
I would just call it the Undone Show, but not the Gerald Show.
Because it's
The
never
Undone Show,
defined.
yeah.
It's never done.
The show is never done. Yeah,
That's right.
It just fades out. There's no outro.
Yes, we're still figuring it out.
I think that the bear should be animated and it should talk, which I know adds cost.
We don't got a budget for that.
But you got something on Fiverr.
Did you see me say anything about a sponsor in this whole video? There's no
Who makes the bear?
some Toys R Us brand or
Toys R Us. Next question. Oh yeah, we're not at Gerald's anymore. What camera system has the best colors? Fuji. Easy question. In a professional setting though, if you're shooting RAW, it doesn't so much matter. I would say that Sony is kind of closest to the truth of the world. Maybe Nikon, at least the way I shoot, is a little bit warmer. Canon is nice too. But then I just slam everything through a preset anyways, or Imagen. And color science, I guess, doesn't matter. For video, it does. For video, Sony, because I shoot everything on S-Cinetone, and I like that color palette. And I add my LUT, and then life is good. Next question. Number one lens for wedding, or my favorite lens for weddings. That one's easy. The cheating answer is the Tamron 35-150 f2 to f2.8. And the answer that I wish I could shoot any wedding with would be the 35 1.4. Pretty much for any system. Unfortunately, you're not able to really use that as a tool all day at a wedding, a lot of the time. Do something a little longer. But 35 is nice. It's the one lens that I'll bring for travel. I'm only bringing one lens. I'll bring that prime rather than a zoom. 35 makes you feel like you're kind of part of the scene. I like that. If you shoot everything with an 85, you feel really kind of separated. It feels editorial. 35, you feel like you're there. And I also like when you get really close, you get that really nice shallow depth of field, but also with a wider angle lens. I like that aesthetic a lot. All right, I've arrived home. A few more questions. Doing a hybrid, how do you prioritize photo or video during important moments? There's a few ways to go about this. One, if you're shooting a mirrorless camera that has good autofocus for video, you can just hold two cameras. Typically, this would look like I would just either hold one completely upside down or beside and just film the video on that and then take the pictures. I feel like it takes me more mental energy to do the photos and then just be a little bit wider and just roll video on everything. Or if you're working with a second photographer, they can roll either photo or video and you can do whatever the other one is. I would say during a wedding day, there's maybe 2 or 3 moments that I want to do both. One of them being the first kiss, the other being maybe a first look. So maybe there's 2. Other than that, you can easily do both photography and video. Next question. What is the best way to go from 0 to 15 weddings a year? I've shot 7 over the past 3 years. I would say the number one thing, at least that I would be looking at right now, is creating behind the scenes content, both for social media as well as to create videos you can actually put on your website. I would be doing these to also target venues through SEO. I would be doing essentially what I've kind of done here on YouTube and just on the behind the scenes videos. Mine are more focused on education and kind of gear reviews. But if you were to do them and just walk people through what a typical wedding day looks like, that's what I would be doing at every single wedding. And I feel like the time that you spend on that will come back to 10x in terms of sales and also in terms of venue relationships as well. Next question, do you use S&Q to shoot 60p on a 24? I guess you could actually do that. So I just do 60p for my highlight videos and I will just slow it down in post-production. So I put everything on a timeline. On the member site, there's a full walkthrough of my editing process for highlight videos. And I just record everything at 60. Because it's easy, I would say that I don't love to be flipping modes. The downside with not changing modes is that if you are someone that wants to shoot on Cinetone, which I usually do for videos and I'm doing right now, if you're in photography mode and you hit the record button, even though you're able to record a video at all your technical settings, you don't get that picture profile carried over. So that's a bit of a bummer. I am just very aware of that. So for instance, during the ceremony when there's a lot of mixed incandescent lighting, I will for sure be on Cinetone for that. But if we're outside in a park or maybe it's during the ceremony and there's just not time to switch, I don't mind maybe the extra step in color grading, which is basically just removing a little bit of saturation in order to kind of make it match with the other footage. But no, I don't record anything in S&Q mode on wedding days. And now for the last question. Best snacks, are they in the US, Japan, or Iceland? I don't know if this is asking for a comparison or if it's asking for my favorite snacks. I would say in Iceland it is the hot dog. I don't know if that's considered a snack. I guess it could be, depending on if you use it as a meal or not. Iceland, hot dog for sure. And Japan, I'm gonna go for egg sandwich, or the tiny little coffees, not really a snack, but tiny boss coffee, or egg sandwich. Or sometimes the pancakes. Or I'm completely overlooking all the fried chicken offerings at all the convenience stores. Everything at a Japanese convenience store is amazing. Everything at a North American convenience store is kind of whatever. If you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the comments below here and I will make another video at some point and I will include those questions. Thank you very much for watching and thank you to Tim for recording this video for me, except for this part here. And I will see you again another time. Goodbye.